Hello, I'm Mike Gorno. Welcome back to my perfect playthrough of Mega Man Legacy Collection. Well, that's a sweet little logo. AD 2000X. Wow, a bit dated. Household Robots Rock and Roll were created by Master Robot Designer, Dr. Light, and were enjoying their peaceful days. Then one day, the industrial robots all over the world went on a rampage and the world fell into total chaos. Dr. Light quickly realized that mad scientist Dr. Wily was behind the nefarious deed, but he didn't know what to do. Rock, having a strong sense of justice, volunteered to be converted into a fighting robot. Thus, the Super Robot Mega Man was born. Yeah, it's the story of the first 3 Mega Man games right here. So will they continue on with more dialogue like this? Well, so yeah. Mega Man shattered Dr. Wily's plans 3 times, and world peace has been maintained so far, but history repeats itself. Dr. Kosak, a mysterious scientist, has invented 8 powerful robots and sent them after Mega Man. Mega Man starts for the battle again. This time equipped with the powerful new Mega Buster. Gee, wanna know how powerful that thing is? Well, it's the brand new innovation of Mega Man 4, as is the brand new introduction to the Charge Shot. Unfortunately, outside of that, this is kind of where the series sort of goes downhill. Well, maybe not downhill, it's more speed. This is where the series on the NES started to stagnate, but we'll get to that in a bit. Perfect playthrough conditions, so first, let's go over the order in which we're going to take on these Robot Masters. We're going to start with Toad Man, the joke of Robot Master of the game. Then we'll move on to Bright Man, Pharaoh Man, Rain Man, Dust Man, Gold Man, Dive Man, and Drill Man. Alright, so as I said before, we will be starting with Toad Man. So what exactly are the perfect playthrough conditions for this game? Well, we have to not only beat the game, but do so while nabbing all the power-ups. So this is more or less similar, and it does require So yeah, I'm just gonna try to slide through this real quick. Alright, what is going on here? So I'm just gonna go ahead and burrow down here. Hanging on top of the waterfall. So, what's the problem with Mega Man 4? It looks like everything's just vastly improved. Well, we have got to show off the Charge Shot from our Mega Blaster. Oh, let's start with when this game came out. It came out in Mega Man 4 originally came out in 1994, the year that the Soviet Union was officially dissolved. and became Russia once again, the country that we call Russia today. Which is why the big bad of this game is called Dr. Cossack. Now there is something else on top of all that on the side that needs to be addressed, but we'll get there. So where does Mega Man start going downhill following Mega Man's 2 and 3? Why do I say this? Well, it's not so much that they go downhill, it's more like the series goes stagnate. So, you hold the with the Mega Buster, you just hold the fire button and then launch it. And then once you're ready to launch it, you let go of it. It's basically the same thing as Mega Man's forward smash from Super Smash Bros. So this is a bit of an innovation, so yeah, as I said, it really feels like that this series started to stagnate. The reason why, usually with franchises on NES, you may get 2 to 3 entries of a franchise released on NES, because development time was so quickly. But there were other factors in play too with the release of Mega Man 4 on NES. The first of these factors was, of course, the fall of the Soviet Union, and the return, as it is rechristened as Russia. But the second thing was also the arrival of the Super Nintendo. So here, this is beyond a shadow of a doubt the easiest Robot Master in all of Mega Man. At least all of NES Mega Man, because all he does is jump. So you just slide, turn around, rapid fire, rinse and repeat until he dies. He is so freaking easy. So yeah, that's kind of a weird thing to stagnate the development for this game for is, yeah, pitifully easy boss battle right there. Get him in an endless loop and there you go. And it kind of goes to show what is going on with Mega Man, with these later NES games, why it's stagnating. You got Brain Flush. Because from Mega Man 2 onwards, oh look, there's more. You got Rush Marine Adapter. Basically, we could turn Rush into a marine vessel now. Just kind of cool. So yeah, right. So the path to forward is basically dumbed down and simplified to just defeating everybody in the order of weakness for the Robot Masters, as opposed to just leaning really hard on one super powerful. And that's kind of the thing. We don't have a super powerful weapon like the Metal Blade anymore. And that's going to affect... And because of this, there isn't a whole lot of flexibility in the order in which we can go about doing these levels. Because if you want as simple a time as possible, you gotta defeat these guys in the right order. These levels are a hell of a lot shorter too. Music's fine, it's okay. I will also say that Mega Man 4 is probably the easiest Mega Man game up to this point. Even easier than Mega Man 2, which actually has an easier difficulty setting, as a reminder. So I'm going to go over here first. Actually, there is absolutely nothing for us to get down that ladder. It's just a weird deterrent. This is the real way forward. So yeah, I didn't use my other abilities during Mega Man 3 because they weren't very good. Because they generally weren't very good. Alright, I'm stuck. I can't catch up with that platformer, so... I tried, so I need to make adjustments to my platforming. There we go. Oops. Try not to kill these bugs if it can be helped. At least we could kill the guys at the fireworks. So we gotta use the Toadman ability, which actually allows us to call forth rain. Not quite yet. We want to hold on to the Toad ability for now. The reason for this is because we want to be able to deal enough damage in order to completely skip through his death phase, which will actually make him really challenging. And of course, even with a super effective rain attack, we still would have to deal that extra bit of damage at the end with the Mega Buster just to finish him off, and we don't want to deal with a really hard boss. You got Flash Stopper. That's a reward for beating this guy. So now we got Pharaoh Man. The trivia about Pharaoh Man is that he was actually the final villain of the big tournament arc of Mega Man NT Warrior. So this is yet another Robot Master that actually has quite the legacy behind it. Even more noticeable was that he was the one that essentially deletes Mega Man. And I say deletes because Mega Man was deleted in much the same way that I deleted my Microsoft Word folders. So I'm just sliding across the sand, and this is actually we need to make this jump right here as part of our perfect playthrough conditions, because this is one of 2 items that you have to go out of your way to get. It involves jumping over that pit, and it's very, very hard to do. And as a reward for getting this power-up in particular, we get teleported right where we would have appeared in had we dropped down the pit before. So yes, that power-up plus one other are basically essential to achieving a perfect playthrough in this game. Every Mega Man game in this collection has its own perfect playthrough conditions, as a reminder. And yeah, Mega Man 2, you gotta get all the energy tanks. Mega Man 3, you just have to beat the game. Mega Man 1, there's one power-up you need to pick up. I think that's kind of mandatory too. But here there are 2 power-ups that aren't mandatory, but will be a huge help in actually I gave up trying to dodge that head thing. So yeah, you get better level designs, better backgrounds and foreground, and general art direction. But this game came out the same year as the Super Nintendo, at least here in the States. In Japan, it came out a year after the Super Nintendo came out. So, what this means, we're gonna switch to Time Stopper. I think it's called. And it allows us to just rapid fire. But unlike previously when you have a similar ability like this, you can actually use your Mega Buster while freezing Pharaoh Man in place, and you can just whittle him down to nothing. So it is very, very, very cost effective. Really good stuff. Not something I would recommend spamming incessantly, but it's still pretty good against Pharaoh Man. So, you got Pharaoh Shot. Pretty good. That'll come in handy with our next ability. And our next opponent will be Ringman. So, as I said previously, Mega Man 3 onwards, Capcom basically kept holding contests with their fellow gamers. Be sure to jump here. Keep jumping at this part, and if you need to, use the bright. Oh, it doesn't work. Shit. At least I was able to make that. But you want to use the bright here specifically so you don't have to deal with all the other enemies, not so much the bridges. You don't need to deal with that shit. When trying to do that tricky platforming, you don't need to deal with that shit. So, we now have to deal with this thing. Look, it's Hungry Hungry Hippo. And it keeps rising, too. Come on. I suppose if there is a bright side, it's that the game actually buffs up your defense quite a bit. Yeah, I'm just dealing with a bunch of tricky stuff. So, we want to use the Toad Rain here to take out these guys super quickly. But we only get 2 shots with it, so there's many more of these like it later on. So, yeah. There's some interesting gimmicks. This is not a bad game. Understand this. I would not even rate it like a 4 out of... It's not even a 5 out of 10. I would probably, maybe at worst, a 6 out of 10. but probably more like a 7 out of 10 in my book. It's fine. I mean, the franchise has stagnated following Mega Man 2 and 3, which basically means it's about similar tier, but not as good, but of a similar merit, I would like to say. So I'm ignoring that letter because it just leads us to a bunch of goodies. No new ability, no new power-ups or anything, just extra lives, health, and energy. Replenishments, that's it. So because Capcom kept doing these yearly contests to see which Robot Masters will be accepted to the newest Mega Man game, what this leads to is basically Capcom just pumping these out every year for the remainder of the NES's lifespan. Okay, right, what I'm doing right here is trying to replenish energy for the Toad Rains, because we want our Flash Rains to be fully recharged for what's about to come. Alright, we're good. But what this does is there was a 2-year wait between Mega Man's 1 and 2 because Mega Man 1 was a commercial flop and they had to develop Mega Man 2 on the side. There was no contest held for Mega Man 2 because for that very reason. It was supposed to be a side project the developers were working on. Mega Man 3 onwards was where the contest started to take shape. And this kind of results in a lot of stagnation, because now you're just mass-producing these games on a yearly basis. Alright, so this is why we want to use this ability. Behaves a bit like a boomerang. Shit. So I think we need one more hit and we're good. So attacks got nerfed heavily in Mega Man 4 from previously, both your own and the enemies, which allows you to tank enemy hits, but they can take your hits pretty well too. So I guess it's meant to balance out the difficulty from Mega Man 3 to make it more fair. You got Rain Boomerang. Yeah, it was a boomerang attack. So Ringman's dead. For now, anyways. So now let's take on Dustman. So Ring Boomerang is his kryptonite. And this is kind of the problem. Mega Man 3 is arguably unfair. It could be argued that Mega Man 3's difficulty is unfair. Like, it is ridiculously hard. But Mega Man 4 is like, kind of, they tone down the difficulty, but don't really replace it with anything. It sort of leads to a sense that this is fine, it's okay, but it's not as good as the previous games. I mean, when you make the same, more or less make the same game over and over again, it does explain why a lot of people would rate the Mega Man games as a whole as overrated. As like the most overrated games on NES. I don't think that's necessarily true. Mega Man's 1 and... Mega Man's 1, I would say maybe Mega Man 1 is overrated because a lot of people like to rate it as their third or fourth favorite Mega Man games. I think it's the worst out of the entire NES lineup, objectively speaking. Ah, shit, come on. Alright, you asked for it. Alright, what we want this guy to give us... Alright, that's exactly what we want from him. He will gift us with a random health, energy, or extra life. And whatever you accept, that is what you... whichever one you happen to pick up is what you get. You can't change the prize by entering and exiting that room until you get what you want and then nab it. But you can only get it once. Yeah, we gotta just take it. Alright. Yeah, sometimes I have no choice but to just take the hit. And in this stage, there's often whole stretches of nothing. Even the big enemies that often guard the chambers to the robot masters are no longer even remotely threatening. Anyways, we gotta use the ring boomerang against this guy. So all the robot masters in these games are essentially invented by a bunch of kids. By a bunch of Japanese kids, you know. So yeah, we use the ring boomerang, and there you go. Alright. You got Dust Crusher. So now our next opponent will be Skullman. Believe it or not, this is like his ability. So I'm gonna save the trivia for Skullman for a bit later because it involves his power-up. So this is kind of a nifty little design here. So yeah, you get all these power-ups and enemies just respawn as soon as you re-enter where they would otherwise be, even if you have killed them. So yeah, it's still got that level of cheapness going for it. Now, so that I can still see somebody saying Mega Man 4 is their favorite, because the difficulty is toned down. It is actually so much more manageable compared to even Mega Man 2 even. So as I said, even though I think the series has essentially stagnated at this point, I must say that the games are bad after this, but kind of feel like you're getting diminishing returns after the highs that were Mega Man's 2 and 3. Innovations ultimately give way to gimmicks. Alright, we're not really pressed for... I'm just gonna jump over that. I wanna try a nap. Nope. I don't want him throwing the items right on my face. Even though I sort of blew my chance at nabbing the item that I wanted previously because I was... There we go. That is the item that we want. Oh shit. Why did I go up there? Oh yeah, I'm just showing up. I think I'm... Oh yeah, energy tank. That's what I wanted. I didn't want an extra life, I wanted the energy tank. That helps replenish our health. Even if we keep going up... There's either some goodies that I want up there... A goodie that I want up there, or... This is the way forward. Alright, so, actually, I think there's, like, I think this game also introduced the concept of branching paths. Oh, that's Mega Man 5. It's either Mega Man 5 or Mega Man 6 that introduced the concept of Rat Crate. Well, you leave us alone with the bone throwing! I mean, he only stays down like for like 5 seconds. At least we have access to the health up there. All I want to do is use the duster. A dust crusher, I think it's called. And Skullman's ability basically functions similarly to the Leaf Shield from Mega Man 2. And is actually the alternate alternate down specials in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS. Excuse me. Yeah, Smash 4 actually gave us access to custom special moves, which never appeared again after that, and the Skull Shield was one of those custom moves for Mega Man. You got Skull Barrier. Sorry, I said Skull Shield, it's Skull Barrier. Never mind. I said, because it's called Leaf Shield in Mega Man 2, so that was my thought process. Dive Man is next. Of course, this is the Underwater Robot Master. Shit. Yeah, the only way you can avoid dying from those spikes is to damage abuse as you lay on top of them, but even then you gotta get out of there quickly. Come on. So, we wanna... I want to try to get over these guys. Yeah, That's another energy tank. Every little bit helps. Then we jump down here. I think we're nearing the point where we get our next optional our next optional item. We need to nab it as per our perfect playthrough conditions. So yeah, Mega Man 4, I mean the Mega Man games past 3 do try unique gimmicks and ideas to set them apart from previous games and hopefully make them worth picking up and playing. I think the results are kind of mixed. So, we want to drop down this pit right here in order to nab this item, and we want to navigate around these urchins. And right here. Unfortunately, rather than taking us to our next location, it backtracks us to an earlier point in the stage. Luckily, not the very start. But now we have to take out this whale again. This time we don't want to go down this hole. Oh, nope. We don't want to go down this hole this time because that will take us back to where that power-up is, and I don't think there's any way out at that point. Oh. That's more like it. Alright, we made it through this difficult part. And now, let's see what we need. Oh yeah, it gave us the wire and balloon items, which will help. But during the final gauntlet. So Skullman, we are going to basically operate in the same, with the Skull Bear, will basically operate the same way as Leaf Shield in Mega Man 2. Rather than try to steer it towards them, we're just going to. This is... Oh, just try to carefully spam it while not taking too much damage. And that's how we beat this Dive Man. By pulling a Leaf Shield on it. Our reward here, you got Dive Missile. Oh yeah. And last but not least, we get Drill Man. Well, I guess it's least because Drill Man's weapon is probably the least useful out of everybody. Alright, and we are going to climb up this ladder. Shit. Don't need to use the toad rain yet. Quite yet. I may need to use it here though. Nope, you just don't. We just have to ignore the extra life. And we got guess we'll pick that up. Well, I probably should have left the extra life alone. So what should we do? Yeah, using the flash rain is always gonna be a help when dealing with swarms that you have no idea what to deal with. So we're using the rush wire. Have this energy tank. Alright, we got the wire from Dive Man stage. So what we're going to use now is the skull barrier as like a shield. Be sure to flip the switches. There's a shield as protection from the falling rocks. And we want to use Dive Man's ability. So Skull Shield still has its practical uses against environmental hazards. So it's basically a dive missile. Right here, you basically have to count to like 5 or 10. Whichever number works for you before you start sliding away. It's kind of funny because this weapon absolutely trivializes him otherwise, but you gotta time it right. So, what power-up do you get from Drill Man? Surely something drill-based. Unfortunately, you don't get to dig underground or anything like that. You got Drill Bomb. Yeah, we get a bomb. And we get a new upgrade for Rush. You got Rush Jet Adapter. So now we can fly, take to the skies with Rush once more. But now we defeat all the robot masters. It's now take on Dr. Cossack, I think his name. Yeah, not Dr. Wily this time, Dr. Cossack, because again, this was the year the Soviet Union officially ceased to be. And now we call it Russia. There's a bit more to it than that, which I will get to later. There's a hidden extra life right there. And this theme sounds remarkably similar to Mega Man 1's, one of the theme songs from Mega Man 1. Which is kind of interesting. I will say that Mega Man 4's music is definitely a setback from the high octane tempos of Mega Man's 2 and 3. Alright, how are we gonna get up there? I'm just gonna... Really? Ugh. Alright, so I just decided to use Brightman's abilities to freeze time. Like the Russia architecture in the background. So crazy that that thing will not spawn in until just before. Alright. I want to top off the bright spark. Oh, come on. Ice physics, and it's like the worst ice physics yet. So, what do we do to get to where we need to go? Well, use the optional balloon weapon to help us get up here. I guess you could also use jet, but this is more convenient and it doesn't deplete as much resources. But here is kind of the insane, tricky part. Because I have to literally try grabbing that. Alright, and is there anything else we need? No, it doesn't look like it. Rush through this through the jaws, and... which ability should we use? Let's go. I think the ability we want is Ring. Because, yeah, from this moment, again, you don't get, your energy doesn't get topped off anymore. Will not be getting topped off anymore for the rest of the game, after you clear a level. So why am I not hitting them? Because it's a very narrow hitbox, that's why. You have to hit the red thing, and this is... So anyone who's played Sonic 3 would know what this boss is trying to do. He's trying to destroy the floor beneath your feet, so you are on a time limit. Because you take too long, he'll destroy all the floor tiles and you will die, eventually. Either die or be cornered with no hope of escape. Luckily, he's a lot slower in this mission than the Carnival Night Act 1 boss in Sonic 3. Alright, and this is the next level. So which direction we go up? We are going to take the right side. Let's see where it takes us. Very easy. Alright, we want to top off our ring ability, and it's very easy to top off because the game isn't super stingy about making sure you absolutely use everything, but at the same time, you will use it. The Jet Marine is single-handedly the worst item and the worst ability in all of Mega Man 2. And we can keep our energy depletion to a minimum here. Watching the little arrow switches so we can more easily time when to make our jumps. Gotta use the wire to get up there. Unfortunately, it's gonna be a bit of a waste of resources now being that energy depleter because we would have to go back and do this all over again anyway, so. Using the Toad Rain. Again. I might as well top that power up. Should we go up for that? We can't drop down from there, so... So what we want to top off, might as well top off the jet. And we'll use the wire here. Yeah, why bother doing the platforming when we could just shortcut our way up there? So I'm trying to think, is it the ring or... Yeah, I know it's Duster. For this upcoming boss, whenever I contemplate which power-up to use, it's because I'm trying to look through my notes to figure out which power-up is recommended for each boss. I hit the red dot in the middle and try to land as much hits with the duster as possible. So he's halfway dead now. So we need to figure out when the best time is to go. It's when it moves super slow is when you want to go inside. Yeah, doing the whole rewind thing until I two-cycle this boss. That's the fastest you can beat this boss, theoretically speaking. That is assuming you can do it without the rewind. So we are approaching perhaps the penultimate level, but you know, there seems to be seems like we're halfway done based on the runtime. So that's kind of interesting. So this is an auto-scroller, and it's a slow auto-scroller. I do like that the music emphasizes, yes, we are at the end game now. Are we? Because we have yet to run into the boss gauntlet. So, I'm gonna top off the duster now, because it needs it most. Still need to top off the wire as well, but we'll get there when we get there. And we got there a lot faster than I thought. Alright, the auto-scrolling portion of this level is done. Alright, how do we do this? Come on. I would rather get top off for the toad ring. That'll do. That'll work for now. Because those chainsaw, like those circular saw enemies are like a pain to deal with, so... Alright, we're gonna top off the toad. Now we're fully topped off. Luckily, all you have to do to cause the platform raise is to jump up. Alright. You know I'm recording. I have no idea how I'm supposed to get that. That energy tank, because it's like you have to slide through a crevice from mid-air somehow. Oh, but oh well, I don't think I need the energy tank. So I want to use this thing because of its unique properties. No, I'm missing the timing here. There's more like it. So, basically what I need... He's only weak to this thing, but if you time it in such a way where you make contact with him as you unleash it, you deal double the damage as you fire at him. You'd end up dealing double damage. But at this point, I think you just want to be willing to settle. And that's it for the boss? So now let's take on Sosek. Probably wasn't the most optimal strategy that I could have used here, but it'll do. Ooh, a long path. Include branching paths. Well, don't worry about the branching paths, they don't matter at all which path you choose, it's basically whichever one you feel most comfortable doing. Now we're fully topped off. I want to use the Toad Rain. Drill to open up that thing. That's the main reason for the drill, is to blow up walls. That's its main practical use. It's not a very good, useful offensive tool. The drill bomb. So, I could use the drill bomb to shortcut my way up there. Maybe I will. But I do need to time the... I do need to use the rush coil in order to get there, not the wire, because the wire's kind of stingy. You need a lot of free space between you and the other walls to use it, or else you won't go up, be able to go up. But the bright side, I just realized, I can use this to top off on energy, which is why I'm constantly rewinding here. I want to top off my energy, come on! Finally got it. So this path is actually way from my estimation, is way easier than the other path where you go that I could have taken, and now our paths actually branch. I use the rush coil to see if we can nab this thing. I'll tell you, I decided not to bother. So I looked at it and realized the main weapon you want to use for this boss is the Mega Buster itself. How many bosses is that a possibility? Just rely on the supercharged Mega Buster. Take on the big, supposedly the big bad, but, you know, he still seems pretty easy. like, compared to Mega Man's 2 and 3, I'm not really struggling that hard against them. Bright side is I don't have to worry about topping off on energy after this. Well, except maybe the rush coil, but that's it. And that's it for the boss. That's it for Kosek. Huh? Pro Man? Please, Make Man, don't! My father's not really evil! Dr. Wily took me hostage and forced my father to fight you! Please, Make Man, don't hurt my father anymore! So, oh Kalinka, Father! Mega Man, forgive me. You betrayed me, Proto Man! I'm gonna break you, Mega Man. So yeah, it turns out Dr. Wily's still alive and he is the bad guy. Wow, what a twist. Now, I will say, I guess there is a reason why they went with Kosinski, considering that this is the fall of the Soviet Union. So it's basically Japan's way of acknowledging Russia as welcome back to the rest of the world. So there's basically good faith, not really evil Russian guy. So I guess that's the point with the Swiss. So it's not too bad on that front, but it's not really one that holds up to scrutiny. And you will get to the reason why once we get to Mega Man's 5 and 6, because, spoiler alert, they do the same damn plot twist with Dr. Wily 4 times. 3 times in a row. And I'm just gonna top off here. Alright, Mega Buster now. Come on, stupid. So yeah, I'm just trying to... Alright, which one do we need topping off? Guess nothing. So, we don't really have any functional use for the Mega Marine outside this spot, so might as well use it here. A place that is actually quite tricky to navigate underwater. Only hold the jump button for a split second. Alright, and I think we need to use Rush Jet here. It turns out we didn't need to use Rush Jet because those disappearing blocks. Well, it's faster anyways. Why can't I? Yeah, I think the Rush Jet's got nerfed, so I'm gonna use the wire to close the distance. No need to waste my time on the blocks. So, I think we want to top off the jet. We don't really care much about the marine anymore. Maybe one more use, but generally speaking, that was the only time we have any use for it. Of course, top the wire. But if we get a ton more of those energy replenishing orbs, I will use it if we have the space for it. So, for this boss, we want the boomerang. We want the ring boomerang. I missed their chance to call it the boomerang. So you actually want to hit him near the cross on top of his head, rather than where his body's exposed. On. And let's go. Shit! Hold on. Alright, I skipped ahead because the recording just sort of... I think I accidentally disconnected the capture card. So I had to rewind back to the point where I disconnected and then refight the boss from there all over again. So yeah, so technical difficulty, sorry. Don't worry, you didn't miss much of anything. I made sure you didn't miss much of anything. Oh, we can't go down that hole. So, kinda easy stuff again. Can't stress things enough. I want to use the toad. Yeah, these enemies can be quite problematic if you let them be, so I want to down this hole so we can avoid this shit up above, and we can go do use the Mega Buster. Might as well top off the ring. Gotta make sure to top off the boomerang. Alright, how do we do this? Probably gonna need the balloon for this part. Ah, we need the boomerang. Alright. Let's try climbing up this ladder. No. Oh, ooh, we want to power up the ring, the boomerang. Now we want to go to the right. Remember, we still have to rematch all the robot masters. And this is kind of a problem because Capcom seems to be really reluctant to break free from tradition. So, and this is going to become increasingly apparent, and is one of the reasons why Mega Man stagnates, because the definition of innovation over time slowly just turns into the gimmick of the this year's big gimmick. And they become a little too terrified to break away from tradition. Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but if you can't improve on it, but if you can't build on top of something, why bother making more of it? Other than because of money. And that's kind of the doomed existence of the Mega Man franchise. The only way to actually innovate Mega Man is by a different incarnation of Mega Man. So, there's OG Mega Man, then Mega Man X, then NT Mega Man, Star Force Mega Man, 3D Mega Man, Rockman. Come on. Why is he phasing through the war? It's just... Thank God. So freaking stingy. I want to top off the toad. And this is another pretty decent place to grind up for energy if you need to replenish, but... really, the only thing needing replenishing right at this point is the Rush Marine, which we don't really need anymore. Looky here, extra life. So yeah, and I guess the balloons too, which we oh yeah, the coil, which we technically still need. So not quite sure why I chose to use the safe state there. I guess it's to be on the safe side. Because this boss can be pretty challenging. So his weak spot with the boomerang is literally that green spot on his forehead. Alright, at least we took him out this time. With a bit of energy depleted from the boomerang. Hopefully we don't need all of it for what's about to come. It's another reason why I used the save state when I did, because we are heading to the boss gauntlet. Oh look, oh never mind, we can just top off. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and top off Boomerang. Now the energy tank. And you know what? We probably need the coil more than the balloon or the Rush Marine. Alright, that's kind of bad. You want to jump down from this side. Alright, and... see if there's anything else for us. Might as well top off the balloons, and what the heck? We just have the Rush Marine, might as well top that off as much as humanly possible. Looky here, we just have just enough to top everything off! So thanks, game, for providing us with this opportunity to top off. Yeah, we don't need that anymore. Now we go through this teleporter, and now we get to take on the boss gauntlet. So yeah, and I do think it's Capcom's being so scared to innovate to actually innovate and get creative with the Mega Man formula, because, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That kind of leads to the stagnation of Mega Man. You're basically just getting new gimmicks, but the same game over and over again. So I'm going to use Dive Man once again because he's strong against Drill Man. Top off our health. Let's decide to spam the dive bomb on him. Dive missiles on him. And as per usual, we want to blitz through this boss for the early damage, and then we are going to will him down with the Toad Rain. Now we can fully top off our health. Unfortunately, we no longer have access to the Toad Rain for the rest of the game. Or I guess it's Flash Rain. So which one do we need now? I think next one is the Duster. The Dust Crusher. Yup, it's Skullman, so Dust Crusher's it. So I'm basically just tanking hits. Because they can't really do much to me that faster than I can do much to them, because we get invincibility frames, they don't. That's actually a nice little advantage that we have over the Robot Masters. So now we use Skullman Skulls to do the Leaf Shield strats on him. Which of course is extremely dangerous. Alright. But so far so good. So Skullberry is done. We are going to use, I think this is the Drill Bomber on Toadman, since he is actually weak to it. Do we really need to use it on him? Because he is the easiest robot master in all of Mega... Oh yeah. Because we need to hurry up and get close to him. And yeah, he's trying to call upon the rain to damage us, so we gotta spam it. Super weak to it, and you can just get him on the pattern. Yeah, and yes, I'm going to triple down on my assessment that Toadman is the easiest robot master in the history of Mega Man. And that's just based on the first 6 Mega Man games. Try to time the boomerangs with when he exits out of his invincibility frames with the vacuum, so that's tricky. Alright. Well, he topped off our health, and is it next one's Pharaoh or Buster? Looks like Pharaoh Man is next. Yeah, this is probably the hardest of the robot masters, this guy. Ring Man is probably the hardest of the robot masters in this game. He is very, very aggressive, and his boomerang is very difficult to dodge properly, so... So long as you're still able to top off, you should be fine. So now we get ready for... Yeah, Brightman's ability now. As a freeze time against Pharaoh Man. We want to be at a good angles to unload on him. Replenishes. I actually really like that this is a big improvement over the Flashman ability from an earlier Mega Man game. Because you still have access to the Mega Buster even after using its ability once, so... So what next? What do we need for the next battle? A sky. Toadman we can't really use anymore. So now the penultimate boss against Dr. Wily. I think at least it looks like it will be. Just use the boomerang. Wait for till he gets done with firing 3 shots and then jump and fire. Very, very easy. So long as you're this close, he will never be able to hit you. But will this be Oh yeah, I wanna see what would happen. I don't want to waste the... Hold on. Switch to Drill Man now that this form is dead. And once again, we have to hit that button in order to deal damage against this boss. And this samey is way, 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 way hard to hit. Like, damn near impossible to hit because, look at this, I'm at the top of my jump and I'm still not hitting him. Come on, hit him! Yeah, I can't hit him! I can't hit the freaking button with the drill! I always supposed to hit with the drill bomber! Like, I'm holding jump as high as I can, and I'm making adjustments based on his projectiles. I still can't hit the button! Wait, you think that button's a little high? No, I'm not dealing any damage against him. The reason why I didn't fully replenish my energy after I missed the first time was because I thought I dealt damage against him because of the flickering. It's the flickering on the HUDs on the left-hand side is literally how I saw things. I could not make out heads or tails of anything. It's like, come on. So I kept trying, and I can't land the hit with the bomber to save my life. So what do I do? What do we do? I can't hit him. I keep trying to hit him, and I can't hit him. Oh, fuck. I hope to God this is the final boss. At this point I was just fed up. It's like, maybe I could do the rush coil. Now that's more like it. Just go back and forth between rush coil and the drill bomber. If I have to, I'll use an energy tank. I'll top myself off with an energy tank. This is just ridiculous. It's just to deal optimal damage against him. I'll use an energy tank here, and now I'll use the drill. This is just ridiculous. I have to resort to this just to hit the sky. And it's literally frame perfect. You're off by one frame, you can't hit the sky. At least we are finally done with this fight. And there's a bit of trivia. If you have access to the, what's it call it? Had you finished that boss off with the Toad Rain ability, you could potentially soft lock yourself because the Toad Rain would have killed the Dr. Wily sprite in one hit as well. So a bit of trivia. It would be a soft lock though. But now we are at the true final level, and that's the true final boss. And at this point, I think this is the best opportunity for us to try to stock up on energy, and specifically on the most valuable of, come on. I'm just going to go ahead and grind here for a bit until we get these stupid... Come on! Come on! We're so close to being done. Why isn't anybody dropping anything? Like, nothing at all. Oh, health replenishment. That's great. And they're not, none of these enemies are dropping anything other than health replenishments and extra lives, which I don't need extra lives. Alright, what we want to do is power up the Pharaoh Man. Oh, and what else should we power up? I think Drill Bomber is good. And we want to stock up on Pharaoh Man because this is the final battle right here for real. So there isn't really much we can do other than hit him where he is located with the boomerang, with the Pharaoh disc. One more hit should suffice, and there, just like that, we've beaten Dr. Wily. Again. So yeah, this game definitely does get harder, but it's, like, maybe needlessly harder. Oh, Dr. Wily gets away and is about to blow up his lab. His castle, I would say. Yeah, that is Mega Man 4 in the books, of course. I like it fine. It's a 7 out of 10. Mega Man 2 I would rate maybe a 9 out of 10. Great game with just the slippery controls, as it's only these somewhat slippery controls being the one downer thing. Mega Man 2 is probably an 8 out of 10. Is also probably a 9 out of 10. 8, 9-ish, I would say. It's basically way too hard, like way too ruthlessly hard, and being nerfed so heavily while the enemies remain just as strong is not kind of my idea of a good time. Mega Man 4 is somewhat manageable until the very end, and then it just shoots up to the stratosphere. Just like the penultimate boss battle. Starts off pitifully easy, and then becomes stupid hard. So, yeah, it's kind of I would say it's still a 7 out of 10. It's kind of like, did this game really need to exist? Yeah, I will say this much. They did give us the charge blast for our Mega Buster. That helped us with our faux final boss against Dr. Cossack, who you see at the HUD on the right-hand side of the screen. But it's otherwise, not a huge favorite of mine. It's fine. It's fine. If you're curious what the later Mega Man games are like past 2 and 3, you're not gonna have a bad time, I don't think, but it's not exactly gonna blow you away. It is accessible, though. I'll give it that. Maybe you'll love this game more than 2 and 3, because it is accessible. It also looks pretty cool. I also say that the music also takes a bit of a downturn from Mega Man's 2 and 3, but there are still a couple tracks that are okay, that are fine. You know, Pharaoh Man it's kind of funny to think that Pharaoh Man actually becomes somewhat important down the line. And as I said before, all of these Robot Masters were created by a bunch of school children over in Japan. Yeah, so yeah, it's kind of cool how they call it all these neat designs for potential Robot Masters, and Capcom finds ways to make use of it. That's basically the reason why the later Mega Man games continue to exist for the NES, and why they are able to pump them out so quickly on the NES. It's literally just fandom, man, that they are respecting too. Will Mega Man 5 be the big bounce back that the series needs? Maybe it'll be awesome. Yeah. Again, as I said, the series at this point continues to stagnate. But what kind of gimmicks will Mega Man 5 have in store for us that's relevant to perfect playthrough conditions? Well, you just have to tune in to find out. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel, especially if you are a fan of these Mega Man games, especially Mega Man 4. I greatly appreciate it. With all of the way, this is Mike Gordon, sign out.